Class, for the topic of communication, my group has decided to present on the 2013 Little India riot, an event that no one thought would happen in modern Singapore. It's the first riot to happen in 46 years. Okay, so let us start off with a video.
A fatal accident involving this bus erupted into a riot involving some 400 foreign nationals in Little India. 33-year-old Saktibel Kumara Velu died after he fell into the path of the bus, which was turning left from Tekka Lane
By the
onto
time
Race
they
Course
managed to
Road.
recover Saktibel's body at about 10 p.m., the crowd had started assaulting the bus driver and the timekeeper by throwing bottles and dustbins at the bus. Officers managed to get the two to safety and they were taken to Tan Tock Seng
This
Hospital.
video footage was taken from a camera inside the bus that was attacked by rioters on the night of December 8th. In it, SCDF officer Tiffany Neo is seen calling out. Lieutenant Neo's mission was to get Mr. Lee and bus timekeeper Wong Dek Wu to safety. She recounted how she used her hands to shield Mr. Lee's bare head as they left the bus, to protect him from any projectiles that flew into the vehicle.
The situation then escalated into a riot. Pictures on social media showed the mob attacking the bus. Police say this involved a crowd of about 400 people. The Special Operations Command and Gurkha contingent were also activated. The mob then attacked police vehicles and flipped the first and then the second police car on their sides. Further along Race Course Road, the third police car was overturned. Rioters then set ablaze 5 vehicles, an ambulance, 3 police cars, and a motorcycle. The flames were later put out, leaving the burnt out shells.
Let me remove the mouse first. Okay, so this is a quick overview of our presentation. First, we're going to talk about the sequence of events and the factors that led to the riot. Next, we're going to talk about who is responsible for mitigating the issue, which will be covered by Kenneth. Next, we're going to talk about the impact that this riot had on the public, which will be covered by Noor Shafiq, and any corrective measures that were in place immediately after the riot, which will be covered by Sabrina. Next, we're going to talk about any preventive measures that were in place to prevent such an incident from happening again, which will be covered by Sian Yang. And lastly, we're talking about the lessons learned, which will be covered by Shafiq. Okay, so this is a quick run through of the sequence of events that happened. So, construction worker Kumar Revelu wanted to take the bus back to his dormitory. However, he was observed to be intoxicated because he pulled down his pants in the bus, and he was ordered to leave the bus by the bus employees. So, upon chasing the bus, he fell down into the path of the bus and he was run over by the bus. So, later on, this angered the crowd, and the crowd started to swell up, and this is when the riot broke out, and SCDF, police and special op forces were called in to address the issue, and slowly the mob dispersed and investigations and area cleaning were carried out. Okay, so this is a pictorial of the events that happened. So this is where the accident happened, and this are where the police cars are overturned. Yeah, so you can have a better picture. Okay, so what are the factors that led to this, that instigated this incident? Okay, we're going to talk about 3 factors for today. Firstly, we talk about the rumors. So what causes rumors? Rumors are due to the lack of information of what happened at the event. So this led to false information being passed down to others. So what were the various rumors that were spread that night? Well, firstly, it was said that Kumar was actually shouting in pain while he was pinned under the bus. However, this is found to be totally untrue as he died on the spot. His head was actually decapitated. He lost his head there. Next was another rumor that said that the bus employees, Ms. Wong and Mr. Lee, had actually pushed him off the bus and run him over on purpose, and it was no accident. However, this was also untrue. So what are the effects of these rumors? Well, firstly, due to these rumors, false and exaggerated information is being passed down to the crowd, and this angered the crowd further as they were led to believe events that were totally untrue. So the second issue I'll talk about today is the psychological issues that happened due to the actions of the first rescuers, the first responders. Okay, firstly, the rioters expected the rescuers to attend to the deceased first, which is Kumar's body. However, at the sight of the rescuers first attending to the bus employees angered the crowd as they felt unjust towards the foreign workers. Next was the fact that due to the rumors that were spread, the rioters believed that the bus employees were the ones that were responsible for the accident, or they didn't even think it was an accident. So when the first rescuers came and rescued the bus employees as seen here, instead of bringing them away in handcuffs, this angered the crowd as they felt that why are you not bringing them away in handcuffs? So this can be seen where most of the police vehicles were targeted as opposed to private property. Okay, lastly, I'm going to talk about the effects of alcohol and intoxication. Though it's not a major factor that led towards the riot, however, it escalated the riot. So what are the effects of intoxication? Well, firstly, not only does it affect your physical well-being, but also your psychological well-being. And due to the impairment of reasoning, this leads to overreaction. And this overreaction in emotions usually leads to anger. And due to the loss of self-control due to intoxication, this usually leads to aggressive behavior that affected the whole riot. So these are the three reasons we feel that led to the riot. So next, I'm going to pass on to Kenneth, who will talk about who is responsible for mitigating this whole issue after the riot.
So I believe that it's important for us to understand the zone in which the riot took place, so as to contextualize the facts which follows. So the spread of the riot covers approximately 300 meters along the stretch of Race Course Road, which is one of the major streets along Little India, and it's estimated that up to 100,000 of South Asian workers gather at this place, with the number hitting the highest on every Sunday after their payday, which is usually on the 5th of every month. And coincidentally, the day of the riot which occurs is on the 8th of December, which is 3 days after their payday. Okay, so there were really ongoing concerns among the residents before the riot happened. They were concerned about the congregating of foreign workers below their housing blocks, which led to social disamenities such as the workers tend to urinate and tend to sit along the staircases. Therefore, this brings upon the safety issues of residents which needed to be attended to. Therefore, in year 2009, auxiliary police officers and protection officers were being dispatched to project uniform presence and to tackle the social disamenities. So who was exactly responsible to maintain the safety and peace of Little India district? So mainland Singapore is divided into 6 different regions, each coming under the care of the Singapore Police Force Land Division. It was further divided into 35 areas, with each taken care of by their respective NPCs. And although Land Division provides the command and administrative functions to the NPCs bear the responsibility of doing frontline policing. For example, they would dispatch units to incidents to show their quick responsiveness. And most of the Little India district actually lies in the part of the SPF-A division, which comes under the care of roadshow NPCs. So now let's take a closer look at the map of Little India. As you can see, the race course road actually lies along the boundary line between the two jurisdictions, which is taken care of by SPF-A and E divisions. So, and therefore on the night of the riot, both police officers from both the A and E division were being dispatched to resolve the issues. So what were the issues of concern during the riot? First, it was the extrication and the rescue of Mr. Kumara Venu, who was being pinned down under the wheel of the bus. And secondly, is to ensure the safety of the bus driver and the timekeeper. And lastly, is to keep the crowd under control so as to prevent the riot from further escalating. And therefore, officers from CISCO, SPF, SCDF, and SOC were being dispatched to resolve the issues. And 5 days after the riot, our Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Teo Chee Hean, actually appointed and constituted a committee of inquiry to hold an inquiry into the riot. So the committee terms of reference were to establish the factors and circumstances which led to the riot, and they were to give a review on how the response force did to manage the incident, and most importantly, they were to give future improvements so as to prevent further occurrence of such a riot again. And after collecting all the findings, they were to submit a report to the Ministry of Home Affairs after 6 months. So what are the actions taken by COI besides reviewing through the evidence from video footages? They also did a site visit to actually have a better understanding of the bus accident, and they also visited areas whereby foreign workers tend to congregate at, so as to have seek a better opinion from them. So after doing all this, right, they are able to equip themselves with more contextual knowledge before actually giving their opinion in the report. So now I'll be passing on to Shafiq.
Thank you, Kenneth. Now I will discuss how huge was the impact of the 2013 Little India riot to the members of the public. Firstly, the riot created uncertainty to the members of the public. So naturally, netizens will post news first in social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, rather than the proper news channel like the media broadcast. So there was no credible news from proper sources. So nobody knew what had actually happened. Initially, it was thought it was just a chaotic protest that had gone terribly wrong. And who would ever thought that riot could actually happen in Singapore? The last major riot that happened in Singapore was actually the 1969 racial riots. Anybody know what happened in the 1969 racial riots?
No.
So okay, I give a short view. The 1969 racial riot was due to racial tension that actually started from Malaysia, that is spread to Singapore. So you can see that racial tension, racial harmony is very important. So the information was still vague until the Committee of Inquiry report was released in 27 June 2014. In fact, a man was fined $5,000 for fabricating false news and post false news on Facebook. He posted this news when the riot was actually happening. He said that the foreign Indian workers in Little India was actually treated as a second-class citizen, and this disrupts social peace and harmony because this news is actually quite poisonous. So he was fined actually a hefty fine of $5,000. So post riot, so what impact has caused after the riot had happened to the members of the public? So it actually caused less confidence in Singapore Police Force to the members of the public. In fact, the Singapore Police Force was ranked second in the Global Competitiveness Report in 2012 for its reliability services. The report was based on its efficiency and riot mitigation capabilities of the Singapore Police Force. So, just now Kenneth mentioned about SOC, Special Operation Command. It is actually an elite tactical unit formed in 1992. So if you guys celebrate National Day every year on 9th of August, you can see that the Singapore Police